Welcome to the Disney Wedding Podcast. This show is brought to you by Carrie Hayward's Fairy Tale Weddings Guide, the only guidebook and bridal organizer tailored exclusively to Disney's fairy tale weddings at Walt Disney World. I'm Carrie Hayward, and each week I feature Disney wedding updates, money-saving tips, and interviews with wedding vendors and real Disney couples. I also cover honeymoons, anniversaries, and engagements at the Disney parks and resorts. Join me now as the Disney Wedding Podcast celebrates romance at Disney destinations. Today on the Disney Wedding Podcast, I am speaking with Disney bride Lianna Dumeng about her ceremony at the Wedding Pavilion with a cocktail hour at Isola in EPCOT and a reception at American Adventure Rotunda in EPCOT. I thought you guys would be interested to hear how she planned everything and how she chose these locations and how it all turned out. So welcome, Lianna.
Hi, Carrie. So good to be here.
Thanks for being on the show today. I always like to start at the very beginning and find out how you and your fiance decided that you wanted to have your wedding at Disney.
We got engaged and we've actually gone to Disney every single year that we've been together. And we were together for like 6 years at the time. And so we've been to Disney every year and we watched the Disney fairy tale wedding show and we're like, what we want in a wedding is exactly this. And so, yeah, we chose to have our Disney fairy tale wedding.
That's fantastic. How did your friends and family react when they found out where the wedding was going to be?
We love surprising our family, and we created a video with the very suspenseful music. And so everyone thought we were making a baby announcement, but we were like, no, it is where we're going to be having our wedding. So it was New Year's Day. Everyone was at our New Year's party and we surprised them with the video and they went nuts. They were so excited for a big family trip and everyone was just super happy.
That's wonderful. How many guests did you invite and how many were able to make the trip?
We had invited 150 and 100 were able to come, including the two of us.
Oh, that's great. Did you set up a room block for your guests?
Yes, so we set up a room block we basically did it by deluxe, value, and moderate hotels. And so we chose the Grand Floridian at first, just because that was closer to the Wedding Pavilion where our ceremony was going to be held. And then the moderate hotel, we just love Coronado, and it was the hotel that we stayed at the first time we ever went to Disney. And so we chose that one because we knew our family would love it. And then the value hotel was Pop Century, and then we included All-Star Movies just because we had some guests who needed family suite that can hold 5 or more people.
Okay, great. How did you choose the day of the week and time of day for your event?
We decided that although we absolutely love the Tree of Life, there was just no way that we wanted to put our guests or ourselves through in such an early rise. Also, we knew there were restrictions with music in the park because of the animals. So we decided that the Wedding Pavilion was a really good alternative because it allowed us a more flexible itinerary. I am super weird in that I just love even numbers. And I really was looking at the date for our big day, since it would be our anniversary. And we ended up going to do a Monday because the venues we wanted were available that day. And we just decided that the best time to get a little bit of daylight would be 5:30 rather than the 7:30 that's normally done for our itinerary, because we wanted some daylight, possibly golden hour, and be able to have both daytime and nighttime pictures.
That's interesting. So how did that work then with getting into Italy for the cocktail hour and American Adventure Rotunda when your ceremony was earlier than they usually do?
We were a little nervous at first because we were like, we're going to have 100 guests with sort of a 2-hour time block that they can wander all over. And we were kind of concerned. And Ariel, our planner, was like, do you have a plan for them? So we were looking at what they could do in the meantime. And we decided that we would have the buses come pick everyone up at 7:30, and we had a little window of time so that people could take a breather if they needed to go back to their room and come back. We were just like, be back for the buses at 7:30. So we had two coach buses parked at the Grand Floridian that were ready to take everyone over for the cocktail hour at Italy Isola.
And how did you choose Italy Isola for your cocktail hour and American Adventure Rotunda for your reception?
We just knew that fireworks were the biggest part of what we wanted for our wedding day. And the itinerary just worked so well because we had some children and some elderly people in our group, and we just wanted to make sure that the reception and cocktail hour were close to each other. And it was just such a unique experience for everyone who traveled all the way from New Jersey and New York to have that firework experience during the cocktail hour. So we felt like it paired perfectly.
Fantastic. Now, did you guys use any outside vendors for the portions of your event that you were able to?
So because we ended up using venues where a lot of Disney things needed to be used. I think it was just a few small things that we got, like from Etsy or from people we know who made them, just things for our remembrance table and things like that. But for the most part, everything was through Disney, even the floral. Our photographers, I knew from the moment I decided to get married at Disney that I wanted root photography. No matter how much it costs, I just love their work, and they recommended Heart Happy Films, and they work so well. They are friends, and so they work so well with Kimberly from Heart Happy Films, and it was a perfect day with them as our team.
Wonderful. How did you choose your officiant?
Disney provides a list with some names, and we narrowed it down based on the type of religious ceremony we wanted and the fact that a lot of our family does speak Spanish, so we wanted to make sure we had a bilingual officiant. We chose Pastor Harry Ruby. It went so well. He also comes from a Hispanic background, so he was very familiar with a loud Latino family, and it was awesome because I am sitting in the back room while my husband walks down the aisle, and I could hear everyone cheering, which is quite unusual for a wedding traditionally, but he was eating it up and he was kind of like the MC of our ceremony.
So then, did you have any entertainment at the reception?
Yes, so we decided to surprise our guests with Mickey and Minnie. We spoke with DJ Vitor, and he helped us to coordinate. We posed everyone for a big group picture, and we had Mickey and Minnie come out and join the photo and surprise everyone. And it was so awesome.
Do you have any menu items or cake flavors from your reception or your cocktail hour that you would recommend?
Yes, I did not expect to love a lavender cake with lemon and blueberry filling so much, but it was amazing. And we also loved the Mickey macarons. Those were amazing. And then the food item I think was a hit with everyone was the Ohana dumplings.
That's great. Did you add any other events around your day, like a dessert party or a welcome party?
Yes, so we decided to have a sort of welcome party rehearsal dinner combo. So the night before our wedding, we had our wedding party and their extended families join us at Animal Kingdom, which is our favorite park. So although we didn't have our wedding day at Animal Kingdom, we still incorporated Animal Kingdom in Harambe Marketplace for our welcome party, and that was wonderful. The food was great, and we surprised our family with a ride mix-in with the Flight of Passage ride, which was amazing, and they were so shocked.
Can you recommend any food items from your welcome party?
Ooh, we actually did a brunch menu, even though it was nighttime. And I totally recommend that if you want a variety of food. There was an omelet station, pastries, and even like savory foods. So I just love variety. And so that was my go-to. And then also for a more affordable option, we did a farewell brunch at Paddlefish the day after the wedding. So that was also really great because we had so many people visiting. They were able to accommodate around 100 guests at Paddlefish.
Oh, that's wonderful. Can you give my listeners a timeline of how the wedding day all fit together?
Yes, so I woke up, well, I barely slept, but I was up early and my bridesmaids and I were getting ready and Laura Reynolds showed up around 9 a.m. So we were able to kind of leisurely like eat and get ready all together in our suite throughout the morning. And then we were putting on my dress and getting all the final details done by 2:30 p.m. And that's when the Roots and the videographer, Heart Happy Films, Kimberly, they all helped us to get over to the Grand Floridian by 3:30 p.m. So that way we had time to take some initial photos before our first look and our ceremony was at 5 and it finished around 5:30 so that we were able to take our private photos while our guests waited. And everything fit together really well because we were able to have our moment with the Cinderella carriage, which everyone loved, and they could see us right away in it. And there was a wonderful pony, Lily, who was being trained that day. So we had time to meet her. And from there, we went to Italy, Isola at 8 p.m., had our cocktail hour from 8:30 to 9:30. 9:30 p.m., we went to see our venue. So it was very nice that they let us see the venue before anyone else. So we got really great photos of how surprised we were. And there were so many interested guests at EPCOT that day, which was so wonderful because they were just in awe of us getting married in the park. And so I had tons of little girls thinking I was a real Disney princess. And we got to see our venue. It was perfect, and it was so nice to see our guests come in. And we did our 10 o'clock first dance, and everyone got to enjoy food. We're used to partying late, so we had Mickey and Minnie come out around 11, and we danced the entire night until around 1:20, and that's when we had our confetti come down in the last 10 minutes, and everyone was back on the buses right after 1:30 a.m.
So, out of all of this, what ended up being your favorite memory of your wedding day?
I would say I never thought I would be able to get 100 people and little kids all lined up in a circle around me and Bryan while the confetti was coming down and just seeing all our loved ones around us. I was definitely a moment that still gives me goosebumps.
Now, when you guys were planning, what were some of the most important aspects of the event where you focused your attention or your budget?
Yes, so we knew our family they were all pretty much traveling from the Mid-Atlantic or yeah, New Jersey, New York. And so we wanted to make it very memorable for them and very special. So we focused a lot on the entertainment. So Mickey and Minnie, fireworks, confetti, just a bunch of surprises that we knew they would enjoy. And we also focused a lot on dessert and food because those are our favorite aspects of every celebration.
When you were booking your surprise visit by Mickey and Minnie, did you choose special outfits for them?
Yes, so I wanted them to be dressed like wedding guests, and so I chose the gold outfits, the gold dress for Minnie, and then I think Mickey had a tux on, which was super cute for wedding pictures.
And then what aspects were less important, where you saved your money or just your effort?
Yeah, so visiting the Wedding Pavilion during the open house really showed how beautiful it was without a lot of decorations. And so we definitely saved a lot of money on floral and decor because each venue was just so beautiful on its own and so magical.
Now, did anything go wrong or just not turn out like you expected?
I think the only thing that didn't turn out as expected was the dessert portion of the night. I think they just, the pastries are done with the food team while the cake is done from a separate team. And so they ended up taking a lot of the pastries away sooner. And so we just weren't expecting that and kind of thought they would be out with the cake the whole night. And so we were a little bit surprised when all that kind of went away because everyone's busy dancing. And so I think that that was the one aspect that we thought, like, oh, our guests will be able to get those treats later on or to go. And I know that Disney has some pretty strict rules about food safety. So a lot of the times guests aren't able to take home those items.
Okay, that's a good note for anybody else who wants to do like you did, where, have the pastries out during the whole rest of the event. That's a good thing to find out about.
Yeah.
Was there anything that seemed like a big deal beforehand or you were worried about, and then it turned out not to be a big deal?
Yeah, so I think we were both very nervous about having that 2 hour gap between the ceremony and the cocktail hour because we thought, what are these like 100 people gonna do during this time? And we didn't want to disturb anyone at the Grand Floridian because I knew they might be like hanging out in the lobby and things like that. But it actually ended up being so wonderful because while the Roots were taking photos of us on the second floor of the Grand Floridian, all of our guests were cheering us on from the lobby in the Grand Floridian. And the guests were so nice. The staff was so nice. And so everyone was really accommodating for our family.
That's fantastic. Is there anything you would have done differently knowing what you know now?
One, I would prioritize sleep. I wish I got a little bit more sleep. But overall, I think just knowing more about the way the food service was going to be during the reception, just so I could have nudged my guests a little bit more to maybe we can dance the night away after or have the desserts, take them to your tables, which ones you would like, and things like that, just to make sure that what we decided to put most of our money in was put to good use. I think that's the number one thing that I would like to change, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Do you have any other tips or advice for future Disney couples?
Yeah, I would say the best thing we could have done was choosing a photographer and videographer that worked together so well and who were friends and worked together so often because they totally filled the role of day of coordinators for us. They also happened to know our wedding planner. And so everything went seamlessly. They put together our day of schedule. And I would also say delegating your things that need to be done, whether that's placing things at the altar and during the ceremony or placing things in the reception. Beforehand, I had bridesmaids and groomsmen who were helping out with those things and notifying them of that beforehand so they know what needed to be done and when. Just helped us be at ease throughout the day and just live in the moment and enjoy it.
That's great advice. Well, Lianna, I think you've offered a lot of great tips and advice for anyone who's interested in getting married or having a vow renewal at Walt Disney World, and I appreciate your taking the time.
Thanks so much, Carrie. This was great.
That's our show for today. I'm your host, Carrie Hayward, inviting you to join me again next week for another episode of the Disney Wedding Podcast. Past shows and tons of photos for each episode are available on my website, DisneyWeddingPodcast.com, or listen in your favorite podcast app. And for instant answers to all your Walt Disney World wedding questions, check out Carrie Hayward's Fairy Tale Weddings Guide, available as an interactive ebook with continual free updates at fairytaleweddingsguide.com.